It's a jump drive.
I love it.
Inside the bracelet. Hey, we're going to tell you all about that Brewmasters Festival going on. It's coming up Labor Day weekend, and we would love to see you there and send you there.
I just want to point out to you, I don't know if you remember this, but this is really important to me.
Okay.
I believe, if I remember correctly, call me crazy. I was going to say yesterday, that's what you called me. So I think I worked Memorial Day this year.
Oh, are we already jockeying?
With the promise that on Labor Day I would not be laboring in any way.
Are we already jockeying?
I'm just pointing out that,
Okay, we'll have to see.
I'm just kidding.
I know you are. Well, it's 6:42.
I'm very afraid of Rob
6:42.
and this woman that we're about to talk to.
On a Wednesday morning, it is Lafayette Live, and Bernadette is continuing her tradition of transparency in local government this morning with Liz Webb Hebert.
I love to do this. Councilwoman Liz Webb Hebert joining us on the line. Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good. All right, so, we every year we talk about the budgeting process. Oh, and it's complex and it's crazy, but here's what I would like to know from your perspective. This is your first go-round.
It is.
So how is this going for you? Is it what you thought it was going to be? I'm sure the other folks who are, the old pros on the council have kind of been highlighting what's going to be happening. I'm sure there's plenty of direction, but is it what you thought it would be?
Yes and no. The council team, Veronica Williams, the clerk of the council, and the rest of that office did such a great job. Because there were so many newbies on the council, they had a special little orientation just for us. It basically sat down and showed us the process, how it's going to go. That way we were prepared. We weren't having to ask a lot of questions, and it could just be simple for us and for everyone involved. So we were lucky that we had that support from the council office team up front.
So I have to ask you this because I love to ask this of Jay Castile and all the other council members.
Boy.
Yeah, you're going to love this. Was it difficult? Was it very difficult for you, Liz, to count the hundreds of people who attended the meetings you had? No, but there's personnel there, but there's sometimes not necessarily a lot of, community, participation.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of been my goal, was to get more people engaged, because honestly, I wasn't really engaged before I decided the last couple of years that I wanted to run. So I didn't, because I trusted that whoever I voted for was going to do the right thing, and I'd reach out to them if I had a specific issue or question.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
But to come sit and just want to watch the budget meetings, that's not my idea of a good time.
And they never serve beer.
They never serve beer or wine.
I know.
So,
no
like every other Lafayette, Louisiana event, right? But I do want to get people more engaged, and not maybe to the point of going and sitting and listening to the whole budget process, but I want them to say if roads and bridges and drainings are your passion, or nonprofit organizations that we support are your passion, or you've got questions about LUS. The great thing that I learned about the budget is that it's all divided up. Each of our meetings are divided up into different departments. You don't have to go to one and sit and wait for hours. We have all these different meetings that say if your passion's LUS, you'll want to come to the next meeting and sit and listen and follow along, or follow on AOC or on Ustream.com. So
I just like the fact that, twofold really, the fact that people have access to this.
Absolutely.
Obviously, this is a way that they can participate, and the fact that the council members, you, Jay Castile, the other council members, I find are very accessible to the media during this process and the other processes.
Absolutely.
I think the availability there, I think that's part of what makes Lafayette. Now, people may not agree with you.
Sure.
But I think for the most part, all of the council members are willing and able to talk to the community. Speaking of which, we talked a couple of times with you about what was happening with Kali Saloom Road, and the work there. And on Sunday, I happened to travel down Kali Saloom Road in the Kensington area, and then past that area. It looked a lot better. A lot better.
It did. We had that town hall meeting back in March for me to update the community and get us all on the same page just during the campaign when I knocked on doors, I noticed that people everyone wasn't on the same page. So we had Public Works come with the project managers, and I heard quite a few people saying how bad the conditions of the road were. And, we weren't going to be at the point of repaving it anytime soon because the project won't be completed until 2019. And so I got with Public Works, and we were able to add on the repaving at College Saloon to a different overlay project that had a little bit of extra funds in it. So we were able to get that road repaved just because the people of the district came to me and said, Liz, we need your help. Mm-hmm. So
it's much
sometimes it doesn't hurt to ask.
No, you're right. And obviously we don't have tons of money in our coffers.
Obviously, of course.
But
like I mentioned, there was money left over in existing projects, and that's why we were able to make this happen. It did not come out of the College Saloon construction project.
Yeah. Are there any big things in the budget? Like our story we did a few weeks ago, we were talking about, we had Terry Huval on the show to talk about the proposed increases for LUS. Are you getting any feedback about that?
Not necessarily. Important for everyone to know that if they want to participate and follow along LUS, next Thursday, August 11th at 1 p.m. is when we'll be discussing LUS and Capital and just LUS communications to fiber services. That's the meeting where we'll be talking about LUS, and he'll be addressing further the reason why he needs that increase, that rate increase over the next 3 years at 9%.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting and important to note that there hasn't been an LUS rate increase or even a request for one since 2010, and before that, 2005. So those are important to know. But please, people can follow along on, like you said, AOC or Ustream.com.
And really that's the thing. Most people during the day can't necessarily leave their business,
of course,
leave their job, and as you pointed out rightly, that's why we elect, council people to go and do that job for us. Now, tell me about, it's such a tough time for the oil and gas industry, and
absolutely
for a lot of other people who, maybe they don't live and die by the oil and gas jobs, but, their restaurants, less people are coming to that restaurant, other businesses are affected, et cetera. When we're in times like this, what does that mean in terms of like pay raises and different things for local government?
Well, there were no pay raises this year across the board in local government, unless, and I'd say there were none, but legally at the state level, we have to increase for fire.
Right.
But there were no increases across the board. In fact, there were not necessarily layoffs, but we just did not fill certain job descriptions that were available to fill. So the government is certainly doing the same thing that we on a personal home level are doing, is that we're tightening our purse strings and reducing certain funding. So we are doing the same thing on the city council level. As you know, I get a lot of responses from the public of trim the fat, and we're cutting our budgets. You need to do that too, and we are. There's no general pay increases. The parish general fund reductions, because as you know, we are low in the the sales tax funds, and the parish have gone down quite a bit. So we're definitely doing our part on our end to cut back as well.
Well, as we're wrapping up here, we've only got about 30 to 40 seconds left. Just kind of a wrap up. Anything else that you are anticipating with this particular process that you think might be on the way that would surprise you, perhaps? Because it's different when you're out in the audience versus sitting on that council.
One thing I found interesting, and that's really been the major thing that I've stepped up to say, was whenever we talked about public works, I noticed that the number for these overlay projects, specifically like you and I talked about the College Saloon project, I noticed that number was lower than it has been in the past. And whenever I questioned it, they said, we're just trying to cut back and do what we can, and this is what we budgeted. And I said that was unacceptable. Because whenever I knocked on door to door, and I could speak for every council member, everyone said, fix our roads, fix our roads. And so that's what I requested, was for them to find additional funding for that particular line item. So that was unacceptable. I needed us to have more money in that fund, in that budget.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, Liz Webb Hebert has been our guest. I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it, especially from a first-timer's perspective.
Yes,
the budget.
But it's been great. It's been wonderful, and I'm going to send you guys the schedule for the rest of the budget, and so that way you can post it on your website so everyone can follow along.
Sounds great. Thank you, Liz.
Right.
Have a great one.
Thank you. You too. Y'all have a great day.
Okay, thank you.